Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Fantasy Birds. We are back with some more Dynasty fantasy football. The season is right around the corner. We're going to get into some redraft stuff, but today we are focused on Dynasty buy low candidates, guys I want to be trading for right now when I believe people are disrespecting these guys. Their values are at the lowest point they are going to be in the near future. So let's go get these guys. Let's not waste your time. Let's hop right into 5 guys I want to be trading for in Dynasty fantasy football. The first guy I'm very excited to trade for right now is Treylon Burks, the wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Burks, second year out of Arkansas, such a great prospect coming out for the Razorbacks. I mean, 6'3", 225, great frame, size, speed, you name it. This guy was a first-round talent, and he really didn't live up to that year one in Tennessee. Mainly going to be due to a number of injuries he sustained in the season, but also the quarterback position. Ryan Tannehill goes down with that injury. Multiple guys try to step in for them at the quarterback position, did not pan out. Malik Willis, the first-year guy, a lot of people were hoping for some good things out of him. He did not look good at all his rookie season. Bring out the quarterback from the University of Tennessee, Dobbs. He looked a little bit better for this Titans offense, and then Burks actually started to shine a little bit towards the end of the year, but at that point, it was too late. I mean, he missed a majority of this season with injury. But 6 of the last 7 games that Burks played in, he's getting the snap share above 50%. That's pretty important compared to the beginning of the year where he wasn't seeing anywhere near this type of snap share in the offense. Obviously, a run-dominant team with Derrick Henry. But as they transition, as Derrick Henry gets older and fades in Tennessee, I'm going to look for this team to air it out. Obviously, Tannehill coming back, he's got something to prove. But also, if you're any sort of fan of Will Levis at quarterback, the Titans go and grab him in the second round. If you believe in Will Levis, this is going to be the number 1 wide receiver in Tennessee for a number of years to come. Last year, Robert Woods on the team. He's no longer there. There's really no other wide receiver option on this roster other than Treylon Burks. I mean, Westbrook-Ikhine, I'm not willing to say that he's someone I want to be scared of on the outside. So Burks is in a prime position to be the number 1 target on this team. And in 5 of the last 7 games that he played in last year, he's giving you double-digit fantasy points in PPR leagues. So the production really started to tick up at the end of the last year, and people are forgetting about Burks, how talented, how great of a prospect he was coming out of Arkansas. In a Dynasty Keeper League I'm in, I have a manager not even keeping Burks on the roster, just foregoing his roster spot, giving him to the free agents. I'm more than happy to get Burks in the draft for a very minimal draft compensation or even a third-round pick. I'm more than happy to give that up. I believe in Burks. The talent is there. The opportunity is going to be there going forward now that Robert Woods is not on the team. I really do believe a very dynamic run-after-the-catch type player. Burks could break out this upcoming year in Tennessee. He got drafted to replace A.J. Brown, didn't do it in year 1. I think he's going to have a much better season in year 2 for the Titans. Go grab Treylon Burks if you can get him at any sort of discount of what he was going as last year, a mid-first-round pick. You'll get him much cheaper this year. Second guy I'm looking at trading for is Travis Etienne, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people forget Etienne, a first-round pick just 2 years ago, misses year 1 with that injury in his foot, bounces back last year, sits behind James Robinson as the RB1 in Jacksonville for a portion of the season, but they move on from Robinson mid-year. Etienne steps into that role, and he actually is a top 24 running back in 8 games last year. A do-it-all type running back for the Jaguars. Great in the receiving game with Trevor Lawrence, and this Jaguars offense is someone I want to be investing in the long term. Year 1 didn't look good under Urban Meyer, but year 2, Trevor Lawrence and crew go to the playoffs and even win a playoff game in comeback fashion. This has the looks of one of the breakout offenses going into the 2023 season. If I can get Etienne at a discount because people are worried about Tank Bigsby getting drafted out of Auburn or Snoop Conner and Dearness Johnson on the roster, these are guys I am not worried about in the slightest. Seeing Tank Bigsby at Auburn, yes, he was a fan favorite for the Tigers, but not someone I'm worried about taking any sort of role away from Travis Etienne. He might not be a 3-down workhorse running back, but he's going to get all the receiving work, and this offense is going to have much more touchdown production this upcoming year. Full year with the new coaching staff. After going to the playoffs, I love the Jacksonville Jaguars and Etienne, especially with people freaking out about the Jaguars getting a running back. Let's not freak out about a running back being drafted in the 3rd round. Tank Bigsby is not a reason you want to be trading away Travis Etienne. Please go get him because this Jaguars offense could be a top 3 offense in 2023 with Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, and even Evan Ingram, a promising tight end last year. Didn't work out in New York, but he showed some very good signs at the end of the season. So if I can get the number 1 running back in this offense who could be top 5 on the high end in a very bad division, I'm taking that all day with Travis Etienne. Please do not trade him away. The third guy I want to be trading for is J.K. Dobbins, another running back, but this time for the Baltimore Ravens. Kind of a down year for the Ravens last year. Even so, one game away from making the playoffs. Lamar's back. He's healthy. J.K. Dobbins, he's going to be fully healthy this year. Last season comes back from that knee injury, and we know it's been taking 2 years for these guys to come back. They kind of rush it back, get it on the field, but they're not fully healthy. Dobbins should be fully good to go this upcoming season. And even at the later part of last season, when we saw him on the field for just 50% of the snaps, the last 4 games that he played, he's averaging 100 yards rushing. I don't need to tell you, that's on a per-game basis, right up there with the top running backs in the league. So J.K. Dobbins doesn't do much in the receiving work. You're not expecting any receiving work in an offense led by Lamar Jackson to the running back position. He's going to take off and scramble when needed. So we want to get that touchdown production on a great offense in Baltimore that just added Odell Beckham Jr., has Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews, and goes out and drafts Zay Flowers in the first round. So this offense, receiving-wise, is going to look electric. That should open up the offense even more for J.K. Dobbins, who on a per-carry basis has already been phenomenal in his short-term career. A young running back, someone I definitely want to be investing in Dynasty Fantasy Football, who only has to compete with Gus Edwards. Sign me up for J.K. Dobbins on a bounce-back season coming off from that knee injury 2 years ago. Should be good to go this year. Please sign up for J.K. Dobbins, who should look to not only be a per-carry monster, his yards per carry attempt should be insane. Also should look to add some touchdown production this season with a fully healthy Lamar Jackson after a new contract for him, and also an abundance of wide receiver options that are going to move this ball down the field and gives even more scoring opportunities for Dobbins and the rest of the team. Next guy I'm looking at trading for is going to be Irv Smith, tight end from now the Cincinnati Bengals. Goes to the Minnesota Vikings, where he was such a huge letdown. So many people wanted to be drafting him for years now to be that breakout tight end. Never really happened for Irv. Very talented tight end coming out of the University of Alabama, but he has had some drop issues, also some injury issues. Those two were the main reasons that the Vikings looked to move off of him this season. They went out and got TJ Hockenson mid-year from the Lions, who worked out very well for them. But now Irv Smith goes to the Bengals, where obviously there's a lot of receiving options there. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, just to name a few. But attached to Joe Burrow, you don't need much to be a worthwhile tight end in fantasy football. I mean, Hayden Hurst was doing it last year for the Bengals. So if he's able to put it together on a cheap contract, no real tight end competition there in the receiving game, I like Irv Smith as just a flyer pick. You're going to get him for basically free. This guy can stay healthy and fix some of those drop issues he saw in Minnesota. I really like Irv Smith attached to Joe Burrow for the long haul in Dynasty. If he could sneak in as a back and tight end one this year, you're going to get great value on him because you're not going to give up literally anything to get him in Dynasty. So that's why he's one of my flyer tight ends going forward in fantasy football. The last guy on this list is going to be Jerry Jeudy. Yes, on the Denver Broncos. Nobody wants to be trading for guys on the Broncos. But look, this is just a bet on clear talent. I mean, coming out of Alabama, Jeudy was one of the best route running prospects we had seen in a couple of years. Very, very poor start to his career. A lot of that's going to be due to the ankle injuries that he seems to keep having reoccurring issues with. But if you believe Sean Payton is the answer to the Broncos' prayers, Judy's going to be a good value. I mean, Courtland Sutton proved last year he wasn't a great option, especially in that offense. Had a lot of problems with the offensive line issues, which probably is the main reason they struggled. I don't want to put everything on Russell Wilson, but Jeudy missed some time. When he played, he was the wide receiver one in that offense, so I don't want to discredit him from that, but just a younger, more talented option than Courtland Sutton. He's the wide receiver I want in Denver. Still a young wide receiver. I mean, this is his third, fourth year in the NFL. I think he's got time to improve his stock. You can get him cheap. He's definitely a guy that can skyrocket up these dynasty rankings, given the fact that Russell Wilson is attached to this team with that long-term deal he's got with the Broncos. So if these guys are able to rebuild and put it back together under Sean Payton, you're going to get a good value with Jerry Jeudy going forward. Last guy I want to mention, not on this list, going to be Kadarius Toney. Such a polarizing figure in fantasy. He has that breakout with the Giants for that one little stretch early in his career. Then hampered by hamstring injuries pretty much the rest of his time in New York, and then gets traded to Kansas City, where he also has some more injuries. So it's just a matter of staying healthy for Toney. When he was on the field in Kansas City, he was pretty productive, but it's really hard not to be productive in Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes' system. If they're designing plays and getting you the ball, you're probably more often than not going to do great things with it. There's so many options in that system, such a great offensive scheme. If they bring him over to be an integral part of that offense, no more Juju Smith in this offense. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's been gone for a year. Travis Kelce getting a little bit older, so maybe they look to put more of the load on some of these other receiving options. He's definitely a dart throw in my opinion. I would not mind just a late round pick, trading a late rookie pick for Kadarius Toney. I'm more than happy to take a chance on him, given the fact that such clear upside in Kansas City if he's able to stay healthy. But that's been pretty hard for him so far in his career. But that's going to wrap it up for my top 5 guys I want to be trading for and an honorable mention in Kadarius Toney. Let me know what you think of this list. Any of these guys you don't want to be trading for, and give me your reasons why. But thank you guys for watching this episode of the Fantasy Birds. We'll see you guys next week with another podcast.